Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 12 and compare it against the iPhone 10 and see which particular phone is a better one for you. Now, both these phones are very interesting because they're both kind of different. The iPhone 12 came out in 2020, the iPhone 10 came out in 2017. So, about 3 years of differences between these two. So, let's go and see how they compare in 2024. If you want to pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off side by side, you can definitely tell these two phones are slightly different than one another. The iPhone 10, which did come out 7 years ago, on the front of this phone has a 5.8-inch Retina OLED display, and it was a pretty good panel. This was the first OLED display on an iPhone, and I still think it looks pretty solid for the most part. It's definitely not a perfect panel by any means, but I do think Apple did a pretty good job with this particular phone screen at that time, and I still think it looks pretty good. It gets fairly bright, and the fact that it's a 7-year-old phone, I mean, it's pretty crazy. This thing doesn't even look like it's 7 years old. The notch up top, fairly thin bezels around it, but overall still a very good-looking phone, and still gets a thumbs up for me for sure. Now, the iPhone 12, on the other hand, on the front of this particular phone, you are getting a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. So it is an overall better-looking panel. It's a nicer panel as well. And this is by far, I would say, and probably argue, the better looking device, in almost every single way. If I'm going to go through and pick up a phone, I definitely want it to look something like this. It's going to be a better looking phone. It looks very solid, and I don't really have that much to complain about here from this particular phone from that side of things. So if I'm looking at a better looking phone, it's a bigger panel, brighter panel. I think this is definitely the better one when it comes down to it, but the iPhone 10 still looks very solid as well. Now, for the rest of the body, you can kind of see that the iPhone 12 is going to be giving you a much more modern design. A lot of phones in this day and age pretty much look like the iPhone 12, still with like the flat sides and everything like that. The iPhone 10 is giving you that curved side, to it. So that is kind of what the problem is here. It's not a problem, but if you're wanting the more modern looking phone, the iPhone 12 is going to be giving you that. Both phones give you SIM card trays. On the top, not much going on. On the bottom, both have lightning ports, which again is pretty nice. I like having lightning ports, and these two phones are going to be giving you that there. On the back side here, you are going to be getting a dual camera setup, but these cameras are slightly different than one another. But you are going to be getting that here, which is nice. You're going to be getting wireless charging on both phones. You're going to be getting the MagSafe capability on the iPhone 12, which is really nice. You're going to get IP certification on both phones as well. And overall, when I look at both these phones, they're both very solid. I like these phones a lot. But definitely when it comes down to it, I think the iPhone 12 is the more modern looking one. It's going to be giving you a better experience in almost every single way. Now, on the other side of things, when it comes down to software longevity, you're going to be getting a pretty much longer lasting phone from the iPhone 12. The iPhone 10 has been kind of unupdated with software for like a year now. Not unupdated, but it pretty much didn't get iOS 17. So actually over, almost a year now, to be honest. It stopped on iOS 16. It's still getting iOS 16 security updates. In fact, we just got one like yesterday, which was really nice, or 2 days ago. So 16.7.7, as of me making this video, is the most recent one I found. But still, I think when you look at something like the iPhone 12, it's definitely going to be giving you probably the better experience, which I actually like a lot. It's going to be giving you iOS 18 and probably even iOS 19 as well. Like, this thing still has a couple more years left inside of it, which is something I really like seeing. I hope this phone ends up getting iOS 20. I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens, but this in and of itself, once again, is another really big feature with this particular phone, so kind of keep that in mind. Now let's go and do speed comparison between both these devices. The iPhone 12 has that Apple A14 body chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 10 has that Apple A11 body chip inside of it with 3 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster phone between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background, so let's get into it. Let's do phone calls. 3, 2, 1. The iPhone 12 is here, the iPhone 10 is here. And these two, music, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the iPhone 12 I think was the faster one. The iPhone 10 was noticeably slower there. Let's do the app stores. 3, 2, 1. You can see again the iPhone 12 was significantly faster than the iPhone 10. The iPhone 10 actually was very, very slow there. Not really too sure why. I don't remember the iPhone 10 being this slow. But you can see there's a significant difference between these two devices. Like, just even scrolling through there was pretty crazy. Going back up to the top, kind of the same thing. Hopping out of these two apps, let's get into like clock. 3, 2, 1. Again, something pretty basic. Hopping out of these two, let's go and load some of these third-party applications. So let's go and try something like Netflix. If I don't even have it, 3, 2, 1. almost the same. I think the iPhone 10 actually was slightly faster there. Coming out of here, we do have thank you somewhere here. 3, 2, 1. Again, this is not that big of a game, but it's still kind of fun to test out. And the iPhone 12, I think, was slightly faster there, but just ever so slightly. I think once you're in the game, there's still a lot of overlap. Getting out to this one, let's go and try something like Snake vs. Blocks. 3, 2, 1. Again, even this one. Okay, so we got a pop-up. That's really unfortunate, but still the iPhone 12 opened up faster even with that pop-up. So that's a pretty crazy thing to keep in mind, that even though you're getting a pop-up on that phone, it was still loading up faster. Hopping out of these two, let's go and try stack. 3, 2, 1. And you can see that the iPhone 12 was the faster one here, and the iPhone 10 was slightly slower here. So again, just a minor thing right there. Getting into some gameplay here. This game is glitching all over the place on this one. So let's go and see. I'm not really too sure what the comparison is here for the most part, but whatever. Both of them were doing pretty good there, but the iPhone 10 is a little bit slower for the most part. Some glitching going on here and there too. Tempo run 1, 3, 2, 1. Again, this is a pretty basic game, not really too much going on with it from an insane, performance level, but it's still kind of fun to test out. So I don't know how to kind of sway this one because both of them were kind of at different spots, but I will probably tell you when it comes down to it, in my personal opinion. Both these phones are very interesting. I think the iPhone 10 was slower overall than the iPhone 12. There were maybe 1 or 2 times where the iPhone 12 was faster, or the iPhone 10 was faster, but I do think for the most part the iPhone 12 is a faster one when it comes down to it. So that kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of the camera side of things, another interesting thing. So like I said before, both have dual camera setups. It's so bright right now, but they both had dual camera setups on the backside. Now, the iPhone 10's camera was a wide and ultra-wide camera. The iPhone 12's was a wide and so the iPhone 10's was a wide and telephoto lens. The iPhone 12 was a wide and ultra-wide camera. 4K at 60 on the back, but you're getting 1080p on the front of the iPhone 10. On the iPhone 12, you're getting 4K at 60. So it's automatically, in my opinion, the better camera on the iPhone 12. Now, with something like the iPhone 10, the thing you have to keep in mind with this particular lens was that not a bad camera. It still is like a fairly decent lens for the most part. You're getting 10x zoom here, you're getting 1x zoom here, but it is a pretty old camera. That's kind of what's going on when you're getting this phone. Video mode, slow mode, time lapse, you're getting photo mode and portrait mode. It's a pretty basic camera, like I said before. Like, it's not that great of a camera lens anymore, but it's more or less what you'd expect, and that's kind of what you're getting with this type of phone. Like, it's a fairly older type of camera, and I think you're probably already expecting that. With something like the iPhone 12, this is also more or less kind of the same thing. Like, it is still a kind of an outdated camera. You're getting 5x zoom here, you're getting 0.5x zoom here, which again is a kind of a nice thing. And I do think if you are overall getting a better camera, I mean, this one is a very, very good lens when it comes down to it. You're getting video mode, slow mode, time lapse. You're getting a lot of other things here and there too, which is really cool. And I do think it's a very, very solid camera. Like, this in and of itself is a very cool thing. And I do think this is a very good camera, and it's a better camera than the iPhone 10. So when it comes down to it, I'll definitely tell you the iPhone 12, it still is a very, very good phone. It's a much better phone, I would say, than the iPhone 10. If I'm going to go through and buy a phone or recommend a phone to people, the iPhone 12 is going to be a better option than the iPhone 10. This phone's still supported, still giving you software updates, and still has a really long, road ahead of it, which is nice. The iPhone 10 is a legendary phone and was probably more impactful than the iPhone 12, but I just don't see why the iPhone 10 I would recommend people to buy anymore. I mean, here and there maybe, but for the most part, the iPhone 12 is a better device. So that pretty much covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.